All right, let's dive into something that gives a lot of people a serious headache, the GSTR-9 Annual Return. For many, it's just one of the most stressful parts of GST compliance. So today, we're going to demystify the most crucial part, how to correctly report your sales, your outward supplies, without pulling your hair out. You know that feeling when you're filing your GSTR-9 and it's like you're trying to solve a puzzle, but the pieces just don't seem to fit? Well, trust me, you are in very good company. It's a massive document, and the pressure to get it exactly right is, well, it's real. So what even is the GSTR-9 really? Well, it's so much more than just another form. Think of it as the final report card for your entire financial year's worth of GST activity. It takes everything you've reported month by month and demands that it all reconciles perfectly with your audited books. The stakes? They couldn't be higher. Okay, if you only remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please make it this. The secret to cracking the GSTR-9 isn't about what you sold. It's all about when you paid the tax on it through your GSTR-3B. I'm telling you, this timing principle changes everything. To make this incredibly simple, we're going to sort every single sale you made into just 3 buckets. First, you've got sales where you paid the tax within the year. Nice and clean. Second, sales that had no tax at all. And third, my personal favorite, the time traveler sales. Those transactions from this year where the tax somehow ended up getting paid next year. Let's start by tackling bucket number 1. This is the big one, the most common category by far. Sales that were taxed correctly within the financial year. And this is all about getting to know Table 4. Here's the rule for Table 4, and it's pretty straightforward. If you raised an invoice between April and March, and you paid the tax for it in a GSTR-3B filed for that same period, it belongs right here. It's a clean match, the liability was declared, and the tax was paid all within the same year. So you might be wondering, where do these numbers come from? It's not magic. This is where you see how the sausage is made. Your GSTR-9 isn't just created out of thin air. Each field you see in Table 4 is pulled directly from specific tables in your monthly GSTR-1s. So your B2C sales in 4A, they come from Tables 5 and 7. Your B2B sales in 4B, they're pulled straight from Table 4A. It's really just a consolidation of the data you've already been filing all year long. All right, bucket 1 is done. Now for bucket 2. What do we do with all those sales that are part of your turnover but have 0 tax attached? For that, we need to look at Table 5. Now, this is a trap that so many people fall into. The terms exempted, nil-rated, and non-GST might sound similar, but they are completely different animals. Exempted supplies could be taxed, but a notification says they aren't. Nil-rated means the tax rate is literally 0%, and non-GST supplies, like alcohol for human consumption, are totally outside the scope of the law. Getting these categories right in Table 5 is absolutely critical for your turnover to be accurate. And now for bucket 3. This is the one that causes the most confusion and the biggest reconciliation headaches. I'm talking about the time travelers. These tricky transactions have a very special home in Tables 10 and 11. So let me paint a picture that you've probably seen before. You issue an invoice in the last week of March. It gets missed in the chaos. You only find it in June of the next financial year, and you finally pay the tax then. The question is, for the original year's GSTR-9, where on earth does that invoice go? Okay, listen up, because this is absolutely crucial. That March invoice does not go in Table 4. Why? Because if you put it there, the system sees a liability for which no tax was paid in that year. That's an instant red flag, and it'll trigger a mismatch. Instead, these spillover transactions are quarantined in Part 5. That's Tables 10 and 11 to keep your annual tax reconciliation perfectly clean. Let's see how this plays out with a real example. A 5 lakh rupee invoice from March 2024 gets messed. The tax is finally paid with the June 2024 return. So when you file the GSTR-9 for the 2023-24 financial year, that 5 lakh taxable value goes straight into Table 10. This correctly reports the liability for the year it belongs to, but it doesn't create a fake tax unpaid flag in your main tables. Problem solved. And that's pretty much it. Taxed sales, no tax sales, and the time travelers. By sorting every single transaction into these 3 simple buckets, you now hold the master key to reconciling your outward supplies. This quote really is the absolute truth when it comes to GSTR-9. Your sales data is the foundation, And if you get that part wrong, the errors will just ripple through the entire return, creating problems absolutely everywhere. So, what does a perfect GSTR-9 even look like? It's simple, really. It's when the total tax liability you declare across tables 4 and 10 perfectly matches the total tax you actually paid for that year, no matter when you paid it. That right there is the definition of success. So, why are we so obsessed with getting this right the first time? It all comes down to this number, 0. That's exactly how many times you can revise a GSTR-9 after you file it. There are no second chances. Getting it right the first time isn't just a good idea, it is the only option you have.